Hey everybody, it's Brett, and today I'm putting together my sandals, and I just wanted to show you the soles. And I learned a lot about pouring these. I poured them too thick. They don't need to be that thick. And also I learned from experimenting that you can add more to the center, because see, when they dry, they get a lip around the outside edge, and what I did was sand them down so that that lip wasn't sticking up. But what you want to do is pour about half that much and then pour more into the center after it dries for, say, 4 or 5 days. Because the cool thing about latex is that if it's still relatively new and hasn't cured that long, it sticks together and it won't come apart if you pour a second layer. And I learned that by experimenting on this little piece. Now that, you may be able to see the second layer that I poured into the center of that, because see, it was not like that, but it was like this. See, I could take that, see how it lipped on the edge? And I can pour more latex into the middle of that. Even though this has dried for like a month or more, month and a half, I can pour more latex into the middle of that so that it's flatter and it won't come out. It's totally stuck in there and you can't get it out no matter what. Now here's the cool part about these. Oh, I'm putting the sides on. I'm putting the sides on by using these, I can't remember what those are called, but yeah, I'm putting the sides on, and I just used the same pattern as from the old ones. I took these old ones off of there and made new patterns. And so I'm putting those on, but these will be okay for now. They're a bit heavy. I'm marking how much they lose right there by weighing them. I mean the weight. So they weigh more now, so that doesn't matter. Now that I've added that leather to them, it doesn't matter. But they're losing like a ½ an ounce or so now of, I'll get that in a minute. They're losing like a ½ an ounce of weight every day from drying gradually more and more, but they're dry enough now to start wearing, so I'm going to finish them off. So yeah, we'll show you that in a minute. It's funny, I was just thinking to myself that most people out there, the majority of the population, thinks that doctors and drugs are health care. They think that that's what health care is, and they pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month to support that industry because they think that that's what's going to save them. Okay, so I have assembled the straps onto the shoe. I did it a little bit different in that I did not put two, whatever those things are called, on each strap so that they can rotate. Now they're not as strong because there's only one, obviously, but I think it's more important that these are able to rotate so that they're more comfortable and that they fit better. And the bottoms, of course, have two. Those don't need to rotate at all. But they've got 3 buckles, one in the back, one in the front, and one on the top. They're made for durability and they're made for comfort, but not lots of air flowing, you know. I don't like those kind that have a thing in between the toe. I don't like that. I like my feet to be secure for like hiking, or like if I go up a steep hill. There's lots of mountainous hills around here, you know. So now the last thing to do is put millet holes in the pockets. So let's do that. Got my spoon. So it turns out I had a bunch of supplies and some tools that I needed to buy this month. And so I wasn't able to save the $300 that I wanted to. And so I'm having a big sale on a bunch of my products. And I'm putting the coupon codes in the description box below for each different product so that you can go to my site, buy you something awesome, and get a great discount. So check it out. Okay, as you can see, I have packed it, and now we'll push them down in and zip it up. Okay, I filled it even more now, and it's got a nice hump in the center there, and that leather will conform to the bottom of my feet. And it should be interesting to see how the sole does. I kind of think that it'll do better on the blacktop with less wear than this, because I think it's a lot more soft and less likely to be sanded off. Like if I took the sandpaper like I did with this and sanded the edges, if I took that sanding block with really heavy grit sandpaper and did the same thing to this, I think that it would sand off a lot easier. So I'm crossing my fingers that these soles last longer, but like I said, I can take a sharp device and stick it in between that leather and that rubber and start peeling it, and then rip the whole thing off of the leather and pour a new sole. And I was thinking to myself that, you know, that's probably one other reason why the manufacturers don't want to use natural rubber, in addition to the fact that there's 100 times too many people and there's no way that you could actually do that, you know, like you'd have to have a lot more rubber trees producing a lot more rubber to be able to shoe every human being in this world. Either that, or you'd have to use the latex for different purposes. Like one of the worst things is they make whole mattresses out of latex, and you've seen this, like if you've shopped for natural mattresses, you've seen this, and think about the inappropriate way that they're using this resource. Absolutely incorrect and wasteful and just totally wrong. Okay, let's try them out. There they are. They look pretty fancy, huh? Natural rubber. Thick. Too thick. But should last a while. The test is in the walk-in, so let's try them out. They feel good even though the leather hasn't even worn in. The arch support feels good as usual. That part is tried, true, and tested. The arch support works great. How long will the rubber last being walked upon on blacktop? And I just scuffed the front. Will the soles start to peel off if they get whacked? We'll find out. So one thing I notice is that the cushion is not as much. It's more of a firm landing when you hit, and that I don't think that would change if these were thinner. So I think it's just a matter of getting used to them. Like the other ones, they were probably the same, I can't remember, but there's zero lift. The front and the back of the sole is the exact same height. Other, you know, not like regular shoes that have a lot more height in the back. This is really a lot better because you're getting a lot more flexion and extension when you walk. Especially like if I'm walking uphill like this, that is more flexion, a lot more flexion because my heel is lower to the ground. So So I've decided to completely disconnect from all the groups in this area on Facebook, etc. And it's not a good time. It's not a good time right now for any kinds of opinions or anything, really, because people are so freaked, you know. So I'm just gonna let the world settle down for a while and just keep doing my thing for people that appreciate my things. So I'll show you what the soles look like so far. Really only time will tell. I stepped on a, see that? I stepped on a piece of tar, fresh tar rock, and it stuck to it. I think they're not totally cured yet, and they will over time, but see, I poured it too thick, and that makes them like take a lot longer to cure, I think. I just don't have enough experience with using thick liquid latex like this yet. So with regular shoes, when you're walking, the little particles that are falling off the bottom of the shoes are getting into the environment. And I know that doesn't sound like a very big deal, and it's not really. But it's just an example of how when you're using something that's a petroleum product that has chemicals added to it, it's not near as healthy as when, and environmentally friendly, as when you're using just a pair of shoes that have natural rubber. That is pure natural rubber. There is not one drop of added chemicals to it. And when it sloughs off into the cement here or into the environment, it's not creating any kind of toxicity. So that's where we need to move towards, so that we're not creating that in the environment. So when the leather is rough, when it's new, it's rough. And that's just how it is. It takes a week or two before it's smoothed out and it's got some oils from your skin into it, you know. And if I wanted to, I could put like some leather conditioner on this, and I have some at home, and maybe I'll do that. I think it's all natural leather conditioner. Yeah, with like beeswax in it. Oh, the solitude of being a non-vaxxer. People won't let you go to their gatherings or events, etc. But bear in mind that the truth does eventually rise to the surface. And when it does, we'll be accepted back into the community again. Oh, look at that. Even as clean as this street is, there's still one on the road. So, can you improve your health fast enough so that if you catch something, you won't get too sick? I can tell you that for me, it's taken me a long time, decades, to get this healthy. And I still have a long way to go. So I hope that answers that question. So that guy over there is collecting these acorns. Right, where are they? White acorns, there's one. He says that the deer like them. So one thing that's the same for sure is that I still get rocks in my shoes, in between my feet and the bottom of the shoes. Follies Girl. (1943). A streamlined musical extravaganza with Wendy Berry. She's cute, huh? There's one to look up. You can probably watch that on YouTube. Yeah, that's a deal there. Look at that. $2 a bag. How big of a bag can you get? Remember how amazing this tree was? The color of it? It only happened for about 3 weeks. And that's it. And it's done. Now it's got something else on it. Maybe that's the fruit of it. These last a long time though. That right there is the most amazing smell. One of the best things in nature. But it only lasts for a few minutes. After about 5 minutes, it's done. You gotta breathe it in and work it. So far, so good on these soles. Cross your fingers. Seems to be good to me. Got a little dirt in them, but yeah, they seem pretty good. So it's only been about a week that these have cured, and they really need to probably cure a couple weeks. I think I'm just impatient, you know. But they'll cure gradually now, and I think they're good enough that they're not going to get damaged. They did get that one little rock stuck on them, which indented it a little bit, but they're really thick, you know. And yeah, I think these soles are going to be good. So we're back to the flower yard, and there's not near as many flowers, but look at this. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? There's some orange ones. And these, those last a long time, don't they?